yeah, that's probably a good stepping stone to what Venom 2 is doing right now in the box office. We were told that we should celebrate Shang-Chi literally breaking even because it literally just broke even. All the talk these people have been doing over the past 5 weeks, take the L. It literally just made its first 10 cents. And that's if you believe the low end of the budget that they have going. If it's any more than that, then they haven't yet made any money because it's not even hit $400 million across the entire world yet. But then Venom 2 just comes out and demolishes Shang-Chi, demolishes what Black Widow had established.
Pandemic.
It's a pandemic. People are so scared. That's crazy. Didn't really affect
funny how that works, ain't it?
Yeah. And Venom it's knocking it out of the park. And I watched it. Jeremy watched. I think Jeremy was less harsh on it than I was. I didn't think it was. The problem was it was the same movie. It was legitimately the same exact movie. So I graded a little harsh.
Yeah, I mean, life is a lot of life, and your reception to something is based on your expectations. And so when I went into the first Venom film, I'm a big Tom Hardy fan, and I obviously like Venom and the Spider-Man universe. I went into that kind of expecting something, and I got something different. I didn't like it. I did not like the first Venom movie at all. But I like Tom Hardy, so it's like, all right, whatever. This one, I went into it kind of expecting more of that kind of odd kind of film, you know what I mean? And a weird kind of dynamic. And kind of cringy jokes. So going into it, that's why I'm not as harsh on this one as maybe I would have been on the or that I was on the last one, because I was just going into it expecting it. To me, it wasn't a good movie. But it also, again, unfortunately, where we are in 2021, this is just where we are. It's not woke. So that's kind of the standard we are at this point. And I don't like to be in a place where I have to judge a film like that. But that's kind of the number one question people have right now. Is it woke? It's not woke, but it's not good either.
Yeah, and we talked about, I talked about that story that came out with Andy Serkis, that activist fucking reporter, and I'm glad that I was dead on my instincts about that fucking person who was trying to basically put words in Andy Serkis's mouth and got him kind of backed into a corner with his virtue signaling, because that was not what they were going for in this movie. There's no gay relationship between Venom and Eddie Brock in any way, shape, or form. Nope. And if you watch that movie, you see that.
Yeah, by the way, I just want to say WG with a $50 super chat says, here's some scratch for Ripa donning NHL attire like a boss. Hockey is a sport as God intended. So there you go. Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Thank you, WG.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
I don't know, like, how much do you care? I know you don't care about anything MCU is doing, Ripa. Obviously, what Venom, well, it was a little bit of a separate universe until
until recently,
until the ending of this movie, which I think we can probably spoil it by now. If you don't know now, you probably know soon.
I mean, I think you guys that are tuning in to Tuesday night's main event, Geeks and Gamers, I think you guys kind of know how we roll over here. But out of respect for people that have not seen the film, if you want to bounce for the next couple of minutes, we're going to spoil the end credit scene for Venom 2, just so we can get Ripa's thoughts on some things. So 3, 2, 1, you have been warned. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, so obviously at the end of this, like, Venom and Eddie are kind of off in hiding a little bit. And they're just talking about, he's like, I know things going back 8 billion years from all the blah, blah, blah. He's like, I'll show you just a taste of it. And all of a sudden, he does something and the multiverse happens. And next thing you know, they see Tom Holland's Peter Parker on screen from the end of Far From Home. And you realize, oh, Venom's in the MCU now. Did you follow along with like Venom and Venom 2? Do you care about that shit at all, Ripa? Because I know you hate the MCU.
Obviously MCU isn't my fucking thing. Venom was Venom for what it was, and I tried to take it for that. So now that it's being brought into like officially kind of that realm, I'm like, I'm checked out. But yeah, I'm at a weird spot right now, because I don't know if it's because of the fact that I'm kind of creating my own shit. I do think that has something to do with it, because you start realizing like, wait a minute, these are going to be my fucking competitors, right? But also it's like, I'm just not, for me to be like, I'm not even enthusiastic about this shit. Well, we've had multiple shows and multiple movies in the last year, let's say, that I haven't even fucking touched. You know what I mean? Like I didn't touch Loki. I didn't touch Winter Soldier and Falcon. I didn't touch fucking Shang-Chi. I ain't touched fucking Venom, and it's just weird, man. You know what I mean? It's just a weird spot, but that's where I'm kind of at right now with this shit, where I'm like, oh, it's a movie coming out. I may see it when I see it, but I'm not like even to the point to where I'm going out of my way. But I will say, to your point, that yeah, it was more preferable that they be disconnected from that. Hell, I even said that, I don't know if you guys remember the news that when there was another conflict between Sony and the Spider-Man rights.
Yeah.
And it looked like he was going to be, for a little bit there, not being able to return to the MCU. I was like, that's fucking fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, definitely with a character of that magnitude not being tied to that shit anymore, because y'all know how I feel about the Spider-Man in the MCU, whoever the fuck that is, Iron Boy. But nonetheless, to see, I don't know. I did see the credits. I actually saw it from who was it? The Star Wars girl. She showed it. That was how I first saw it, and I was like, oh, that's what happened. So they're bringing them in there officially. Like, oh, I'm especially not fucking interested now, because I treat the MCU like everything that shit puts out is DOA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and even though I was not the biggest fan of this movie because it didn't do anything, it literally is the same fucking movie over again. I am rooting for it to kick the hell out of Shang-Chi. I honestly am. Because it's going to be funny when this movie, with less of a budget, I don't think people understand that Shang-Chi, we're looking at $150, $175 million budget alone. This movie's like 110, 108 million. So this movie's got a much lower budget. It is likely, if it continues its path, I guess we'll see. There's a lot of competition for this one, unlike Shang-Chi, because now you got Bond coming out, which is making a killing overseas, which somehow Shang-Chi and Black Widow couldn't do because
we're in the middle of a pandemic, Ryan.
We're in the middle of a pandemic, and James Bond in the first week has already made like $130 million in its first week internationally without China. I think Shang-Chi and Black Widow are around 200 million for the entire run.
Yeah, so we're in the middle of a pandemic, Ryan. But yet we were just in a stadium full at Gillette, to watch Tom Brady versus. We see college football games packed.
Everybody's so scared to go out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we even see Urban Meyer in clubs rubbing up on girl. Oh, we're not supposed to talk about that. Sorry, Urban. Sorry about that, buddy. Yeah. So yeah, sorry. Yeah. But
yeah, I don't think Urban used a sanitizer. I don't think he had a mask on at all either.
That motherfucker has so many problems everywhere he goes. Fuck Urban Meyer.
Well, now I think all the problems have to do with young blonde girls. Now that we saw that coming, I think that may have been all the problems ended up being. Sometimes they're problems that are good to have. But Urban's in trouble again.
What the hell? But yeah, this whole it's in the middle of a pandemic nonsense. I'm just so tired of it. I'm so tired of that excuse when we see these college football stadiums rocking every weekend. We see concerts rocking every weekend. We see people, going out to different places. And then when you see something like these films that people aren't interested in, all of a sudden they fall back on that excuse. It's just not. Shang-Chi just wasn't an interesting movie. It wasn't a historical, groundbreaking film. It was just another formula, like the MCU formula coming out, except you pushed identity politics. You tried to push nonsense, and people are just checking out on it. That's it. It's that simple. It's not complicated.
Not at all. Let them tell it is, because they just, people can't believe that there are people just not interested in these projects because they've gotten away with it. To be fair, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They had a run there to where basically anything they fucking drop was gold, even if it was shit. It was gold to them, and you just had to like it. And you see it kind of waning for various reasons. Everybody has their theories. I do think that it has a lot to do with fucking the shit that we're talking about, be it pushing or prioritizing everything but the characters and who they are, and you're just more so prioritizing who the fuck you can shoehorn in the goddamn in the MCU, and it's cheap. And some people just aren't interested in that shit. And definitely considering the environment of how hostile a lot of these celebrities have gotten, a lot of people get disinterested in that shit. I know they don't believe that, but yeah, like I hear to me, I take heed of that. I see these fucking assholes talking all this shit, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm gonna try my best to not give that motherfucker money. I do that now. I used to not be conscious of that, but now I'm like, you know what? I don't buy new comics, for example, for the first time in my fucking life. All I buy is back issues. Everything that I have is old shit because I'm like, you know what, dude? Fuck these guys, man. They don't like me. They have no problem getting on stage and winning an award for a movie that you viewed and then telling you how much you fucking suck because you didn't vote for the person they wanted you to vote for. Like, these people are sons of bitches, and I'd rather not lace them up. But I think there are other people. The point is that there's other people that are more conscious of that as well. And I think, yeah, they're voting with their dollar, and they just can't believe that there are people that are out there like that. So it must be because, I don't know, pandemic.